Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really great and ready for today's video. So everyone knows the outcome of the Harry Potter story. After 7 books and a hellish battle with Lord Voldemort, Harry finally defeated the Dark Lord after destroying all of his Horcruxes, rendering him mortal once more. Despite the massive losses, the Dark Lord was gone, never to return, and all was well. However, have any of you ever wondered what exactly would happen if Voldemort had won? If he had killed Harry Potter and fully achieved total dominance and control over the British wizarding world? How would things have changed? Would there be drastic changes? Well, in today's video I'm going to look at how the magical sector would have been altered if Voldemort had indeed won. So with that being said, if this is the video for you, then please keep watching and enjoy. Okay guys, let's get things started. Now, I gotta inform you that before I start, I will in no way be referencing the Cursed Child and all that Voldemort and Valor and Voldemort crap. The Cursed Child is not canon in my eyes. I don't like it, I don't enjoy it, but that's not taking anything away from those of you who do like it. I've heard it's a very good play and it has a good story when you're watching it in person, but for me, it's just not canon in my eyes, so please don't take offense that I don't like Cursed Child. Each to their own is what I say. So this video will be based purely on the 7 books. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's continue. Voldemort has won. He's killed Harry Potter, gained victory in the Battle of Hogwarts. So many have been killed in defiance, and now, what happens next? The Dark Lord has finally gotten rid of Harry Potter. He doesn't have to worry about any prophecies or his Horcruxes being at risk. His first step, I believe, would be to offer the opposing survivors the choice or the chance to join him or die. As sad as it seems, I think many, if not all of the students would join his forces out of fear of death. All except a few who would rather face death. Voldemort isn't stupid. He'd have surely known that those close to Harry would have also known about the Horcruxes, so I doubt Ron and Hermione would have been left alive for starters. All Hogwarts houses other than Slytherin would now be abolished, meaning Gryffindor, Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff would all be erased from existence. 1,000 years of history just removed, as easy as that. He'd most likely destroy the Sorting Hat completely, and he did set it on fire while it was on Neville's head, so I can't exactly see him holding onto it. As far as the sole Hogwarts house goes, only pureblood and half-bloods were ever accepted into Slytherin anyway, which is most likely why the Dark Lord was getting rid of the other 3. Speaking of blood purity, any Muggle-born witches or wizards, regardless of their age, meaning those in Hogwarts or those working in the wizarding sector, would all be found guilty of stealing magic and placed in the Muggle-born relocation camp. Yes, there was a Muggle-born relocation camp. Here, they will be segregated and either put to work or eventually forced to reintegrate back into Muggle society. Anyone who opposed would be killed. Now, you think such actions would be on the end of a massive outcry, but nobody was in a strong enough position to oppose the Dark Lord, especially as he was now running the ministry through a puppet minister. It certainly would be dark times. There was a lot of work to do in the British magical sector, so I don't think he'd have then mounted an assault on the entire wizarding world. There was just too much opposition, so many magical governments which could have most likely defeated his forces with ease by sheer numbers alone. I think it's something that would have required a long-term plan which takes us back to Hogwarts. The students would be thoroughly trained in magic and wand combat along with other areas of importance, basically like a normal wizarding education. The Dark Lord would require all students to join his forces after graduation from the school, and he would slowly build an army large enough to take on other countries. It's not like he didn't have the time, he was immortal after all. Despite his malice and sinister behaviour, Voldemort did actually want to genuinely restore the wizarding world back to what it once was, without the heavy influence of Muggleborns, without the permitted interracial breeding between Muggles and magical folk. He wanted to bring back the old ways, the old traditions, to make wizarding bloodlines completely pure once again. It's ironic that he blamed Muggleborns for stealing magic, as they were not of magical parents, which wasn't the child's fault. However, he did permit half-blooded individuals to not only warrant a place in Hogwarts, but also in magical society. After all, they cannot be blamed for their parents' actions and are proven to be magical. They would not be on the same pedestal as pure-blooded wizards and witches, but maybe a second-class status would suffice, according to the Dark Lord. Even with his victory and all of these changes he was imposing, there would certainly be some resistance. Voldemort still had his secret weapon in hiding, a force that was impervious to pain, a force that could keep fighting as long as they could move. I'm talking about his army of Inferi. Many of us, if not all of us, forget that he had hundreds of magically animated dead soldiers at his disposal. I highly doubt anyone would like to come up against these creatures. In addition to that, the Inferi would be something that nobody has ever seen. Not in this day and age anyway. As far as I'm aware, nobody on record has actually accomplished such a feat. One thing I don't believe Voldemort would be interested in is the Muggle World. That is an entirely different level. It's yet another reason how he differed to Grindelwald. The Dark Lord wanted to stay within the magical domain and certainly did not want to venture into the Muggle World, most likely because it was a vastly unknown territory. Despite having the ability to practice magic and achieve magnificent things, the magical world were simply no match for the Muggle World's weapons. The final thing that would have changed would have been that Voldemort would now be the master of the Elder Wand with Harry Potter gone. He would literally be undefeatable with the most powerful wand in existence now truly obedient to him. I'm not exactly sure if Voldemort would rule openly as the new Minister for Magic or in some kind of dictatorship role and put himself in such a heavy spotlight, or if, as I've mentioned earlier, he'd instead rule with a puppet minister. That one still remains to be seen. So that's all the things I believe would have changed had Voldemort won and Harry being killed, but I still have one more question to ask in relation to whether he'd actually survive if Harry died, because I think it's a slight contradiction of how he was reborn in the first place. Voldemort destroys the Horcrux within Harry and basically part of his own soul, that we know, but he used Harry's blood as part of the ritual to gain a new body, meaning he was tied to Harry by the boy's blood. So shouldn't that mean if Harry dies, then Voldemort loses his body once more, or loses his connection to the mortal world completely? Or does the spell not depend on whether Harry survives? I honestly believe there's so many questions that can be asked in relation to this topic. I don't think Voldemort would have performed such a spell if Harry dying was the repercussion of him keeping his body, but it's still a massive grey area if you ask me. How he even came across the spell in the first place is something I'd love to know beyond anything. That's certainly a question I would love to hear your opinions on, so let me know in the comments section below. Guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. Have a great day, and I'd like to ask you to please be kind to one another. You never truly know what is going on in someone else's head. Thanks again. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever. So please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do. It's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content. So if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDNJ and on Twitter at Folklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.